So LeBron James is officially a 76er. I let it sit in for a couple of days before making a biggest losers and biggest winners video. And honestly, to this day, I really don't know how to feel, because honestly, LeBron James isn't even the biggest factor that is joining the 76ers, as they were able to trade Paul George for Jaylen Brown. So these guys were able to get Jaylen Brown. They were able to get LeBron James for cheap. They were able to get KCP to come off the bench. They still have Tyrese Maxey if Joel Embiid stays healthy. All these guys are different positions for one, so there is no contradicting position. And they're stacked. These motherfuckers are stacked to the brimski. So obviously the beginning of this game, or the beginning of this video, the biggest winner of this entire, LeBron James debacle is the Philadelphia 76ers. Removing that awful contract for Paul George and then literally just swapping it for one younger and better player in Jaylen Brown, getting an official shooting guard. Or I guess Jaylen Brown can play the 3 and VJ Edgecombe can play the 2. But honestly, the way that you configure this shit, it really doesn't matter. I did see an article that LeBron James was going to get a lot of minutes at the point guard, so I really don't know what they're going to do with Tyrese Maxey, if they're going to have him play the 2, because obviously you want Tyrese Maxey out there. He was the best 76er last year, even above Joel Embiid, as he averaged about 29 points per game. So these guys are fucking stacked to the brimski. Like, it's not even fair. Everybody in the East is feeling the heat, and we're gonna get into a lot of people in the East that lost LeBron James in the LeBron James sweepstakes. But obviously the number one winners in this entire LeBron James debacle are the Philadelphia 76ers, able to get him on an $8 million contract. And not only that, they got rid of Paul George, got JB. So like I said 50 times before, these guys are stacked. And obviously the biggest, or one of the biggest losers in the LeBron James sweepstakes is the LA Lakers. They are the number one losers, and this is why. I'm aware that they got Walker Kessler. They also got Quentin Grimes from the Philadelphia 76ers, so you could really technically say that for LeBron James, these guys got Quentin Grimes, for those who care. But they got Colin Sexton. They also got Matisse. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even gonna say his name because he's not really all that important. The most important guy on, I guess, the LA Lakers radar is Walker Kessler. We're expected to see this guy make a crazy jump on the LA Lakers, but at the end of the day, these guys sold the fucking Duffy, bro. Do you guys want to know how much LeBron James was getting paid on the LA Lakers? Let's take a look. So roughly for the 2025-2026 season, LeBron James got paid $52 million. I believe he got a 92% discount on the Philadelphia 76ers side, as he only got signed for $8 million spread between 2 years, so $4 million per year. And this was just what he got paid in 1 year in LA, getting basically the Supermax. It was roughly $104 million in salary. Now, as a Laker fan, you must be like irritated, completely pissed off due to the fact that this guy LeBron basically stole all of your salary cap, didn't allow you to get players for the longest while he was there, and then at the end of the day ended up leaving for cheap, getting a 90% discount, or giving out a 90% discount for his basketball talents over to the 76ers. That shit gotta stink, because just imagine the LA Lakers right now with Walker Kessler, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and Luka. That could have been something nasty. But obviously, due to the fizzling out of relationships between LeBron and the front office and a lot of things that they said, I think that honestly it is well deserved. He was able to get them that bubble ring, and whether you believe that bubble ring was granted or it even means anything, there's people that think that it means nothing, and there are people that thinks that it was a lot harder for them to get that bubble ring compared to obviously other rings. But at the end of the day, he did bring them a championship, and the last guy who did that was Kobe. And I mean, the man deserved to get paid, I'm not gonna say that. But if you're gonna go ahead and leave and get paid $8 million somewhere else when you did just basically rob like half the salary for this team, then not allow them to get any better for their younger stars like Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic, it leaves a sting. It does, especially because they had disappointing season after disappointing season. At the end of the day, I think the things that they said was just, it wasn't warranted. Saying that Luka Doncic is their focal point, it can be true, but at the end of the day, it's not something you say, especially when you have two superstars. It's kind of like if the Thunder back in the day with Russ and KD said, look, KD is our focal point. They wouldn't have said that, because they already know, the feelings in that locker room and how that things could progress. And now we're seeing LeBron James get paid $8 million to go be on a modern day super team when it could have been the LA Lakers. And honestly, with LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, if they stay healthy with Walker Kessler, they could make a run. I think those guys are better than Minnesota. I think those guys, arguably could maybe upset the Thunder, upset the Spurs. But instead, these guys kind of ruined the relationship with LeBron, said a lot of things that they shouldn't have said, and now they lost this guy for absolutely dog shit nothing, for Quentin Grimes. Going back on the winner side, I think one of the biggest winners in this is something that you guys might not even expect. But I think one of the biggest winners in this whole, situation is Bronny James. So this guy, Bronny James, got $2.3 million fully guaranteed yesterday, an $8 million contract. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, no disrespect. Yeah, no, this dude, Bronny James, basically got a contract off a piggyback off his dad. I mean, he doesn't have any meaningful minutes. He had some meaningful minutes in the playoff, and he didn't play absolutely terrible. Obviously, I mean, this guy can become a Patrick Beverley type player, but getting some guaranteed money when other players who had that type of performance would probably be in the G League right now without his name, it's pretty good. But we're not gonna spend too much time on this because it is, I guess, a controversial topic. But at the end of the day, Bronny James ended up winning. He got I think a 4-year deal with the Lakers, and I think a lot of that is because of his name, but it's not because of the fact that his name, or the fact that he's LeBron James' son, but it quite literally, it goes down to his name. This guy gets a lot of money for the LA Lakers in jersey sales. I think this dude sold more jerseys than Luka, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, over 500,000 replica and swingman jerseys, generating over $5 million in revenue for the LA Lakers. So obviously, I mean, if the kid's making you money, why not keep him on a contract? And it is what it is. For the next losers on this list, I got the teams that ended up losing out on LeBron. And a lot of these is because they weren't able to build the right team around them. Honestly, I don't think anybody really expected the Philadelphia 76ers, other than the fact that they got Jaylen Brown off that trade. I think if they don't make that Jaylen Brown trade, obviously LeBron James wouldn't sign here. He did say he had a liking to Tyrese Maxey, and Tyrese Maxey a lot in ways is like Luka, in the sense that he's gonna go out there and get you a 30 bomb, right? Obviously his style of gameplay and all that stuff is way different, but Tyrese Maxey offensively is very talented. At the end of the day, the dude is an offensive machine, and he's on a trajectory. The dude is very, very young, and he is playing pretty good. All the teams that lost out on LeBron, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Miami Heat, the Golden State Warriors, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they did not have any money to do anything. So if LeBron were to join him, it was going to be pure nostalgia, because Ohio, I guess, Cleveland, that's his city, that's his state. And that's the team that longest tenure, the team that drafted him. That's his home. Right now, they have Evan Mobley, they have Donovan Mitchell, and they have James Harden, but they honestly just did not have the flexibility to do anything. I think if they didn't have James Harden, if they were able to trade James Harden for another piece, maybe, just maybe, LeBron James would have ended up going there. But at the end of the day, I really don't think he would have, fit on that team. There was really no fit for him. I think Donovan Mitchell plays good enough for the Cleveland Cavaliers to be relevant in the East, regardless. And James Harden is a regular season merchant at this point, because the dude drops every single playoffs for whatever reason in the last couple of years, no matter what jersey he has on. But at the end of the day, I think that he honestly fits the best in the 76ers, just because of the fact that they're so stacked, and I don't think he would have fit in the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then we have the Miami Heat. It was way too many logistics. These guys did just get Giannis, but I think Giannis, Bam, and LeBron sharing the floor just would have not worked out. It would have looked messy, sloppy out there, not enough shooting. And I know that you don't need shooting in today's game, but these guys basically traded away their whole future and their whole bench for Giannis. I think that the Heat are going to be relevant, but I do see them being like a 5th seeded team. So here we have their starting lineup. They have Damian Mitchell, Tim Hardaway Jr., Andrew Wiggins, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bam Adebayo. I guess LeBron James could have played point guard for them, because he's able to do so. But even then, Andrew Wiggins, Giannis, and Bam. Honestly, Wiggins adds some versatility. Tim Hardaway Jr. is getting to that age. I mean, how old is he? He's 34. Still a 13-2-1 guy, but the team's just not all that talented, and they're their backups, Drew Smith, Ryan Conwell, Pell Larson, and Bobby Portis twice, for whatever reason. And they got Nikola Jokic not playing. It's Jovic. So these guys honestly just really aren't that talented. Not talented enough for LeBron James to be like, oh, I want to go to that team. Again, just a nostalgia thing. I think him coming back to Miami would have been a storybook ending. And I was honestly looking for him to go back purely for the documentary, to go back to a team like Cleveland or Miami, or maybe even, the next team I'm about to go into. But then, what I'm saying? Like, I guess these dudes wouldn't have won a chip. I'm sorry. Even with LeBron, the Miami Heat are not beating any of these Western teams. Hell, they might not even beat the Nuggets. For two players that are losers in this whole thing, I think one of them is Kyrie Irving. Honestly, he wants to do his own thing, but if you guys didn't know, there was a potential, reuniting of Kyrie and LeBron James in Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I don't know how Kyrie felt about that, but I mean, honestly, that would have been chill. That would have been cool. Maybe have James Harden traded for Kyrie and have James Harden go over to Dallas. But even then, I think that would have been the closest closest way that Kyrie Irving would sniff a championship anytime soon, because I don't see Dallas really making it over the hump. Literally, their saving grace is Cooper Flag right now. And then we have Anthony Davis over on the Wizards that is about to get his position took by AJ DeBonsta. If the dude doesn't play healthy, he's fried. Because this dude DeBonsta was hooping in the summer league, and there was a potential reuniting in the very last team that I guess lost out on LeBron. One of the only teams that was plausible of getting him, which was the Golden State Warriors. Now, if you guys didn't know, the Golden State Warriors were in the LeBron sweepstakes, but if they were able to land Anthony Davis, and obviously they were not able to, even Draymond Green took a pay cut. He ended up taking his player option in order to save them some more money to maybe toss at LeBron, but even then they were not able to, and now the Golden State Warriors are fried. There's absolutely nothing they can do. And here, taking a look at their roster, I mean, these guys have no talent. There's really not much they can do. They got Stephen Curry, Draymond, and Jimmy Butler. This dude Jimmy Butler is 36 years old, Curry is 38, and Draymond is also 36. Podzimski is just not really all that guy. Literally, their saving grace was Yaxel Lendenberg, landing him at 11. Dude was hooping in the summer league. He's 6'9", 241. Very versatile player, guard 1 through 5. One of those players that, can shoot the 3-ball, can dunk, drive to the rim, and play some defense and score, take over the game. So I guess they do have a future. It's not like they don't. And they also have Podzimski, who is only 23 years old. I know a lot of people hate on this guy, but he's only getting paid $5 million. And for the production, he's not that bad. Like 13, 5 and 3, 45% shooting. I know that he gets a lot of memes on him, but at the end of the day, the dude could be worse, but he's not. You know what you're gonna get out of Podzimski. He's only 23. He could get better, but these guys lost on LeBron. If they were able to maybe, I don't know, package Brandon and who else would you trade? But it's just that the fact that these guys have no money. There was really nobody they can send other than Jimmy Butler for Anthony Davis, and Jimmy Butler is coming off an injury. The Wizards are not gonna take an injured Jimmy Butler when these guys honestly are building a team for themselves. I mean, take a look at their roster. These guys got DeAndre Ayton out of the Lakers, which I already know how people feel about him, but the dude's only making $8 million. I'm taking DeAndre Ayton, even if he's an absolute terrorist. I'm taking him for $8 million. Then these guys got Agent DeBonsta. They got Trey Johnson. They got Chris Middleton. They got Trey Young. And obviously here they got Anthony Davis, who people didn't know. This guy's only 33 years old. Only is an understatement, but the guy's 33. If he's able to, I don't know, configure a actual healthy season, these guys could be something serious. I mean, having Alex Sarr at the starting center position, Anthony Davis, AJ DeBonsta at the 3, Keshawn George and Trey Young, and having Trey Johnson off the bench as your 6th man with DeAndre Ayton and Chris Middleton, these guys have a team. Honestly, I think Wizards are one of the winners of this season overall. As obviously when you have the #1 pick, you should end up being a winner off this offseason. But due to that reason, they did not want to give up Anthony Davis, and the Warriors were losers. They were not able to get LeBron. Now, on the very last loser side, I think it's the entire Eastern Conference. And it isn't even just because of LeBron. I think it's because of the 76ers overall. I mean, the team is absolutely stacked. But taking a look at the Eastern Conference, there really isn't any team that can compete with these guys. So for one, obviously we have the Celtics, who got Paul George, who they're paying $54 million to, due to the fact that they did not want to forever, whatever reason. And okay, so they didn't want to go over the second apron, right? They wanted more players. But at the end of the day, if you want to give up JB, you need to max salary. But instead of going out there getting a bunch of pieces, right? And JB could have got them anybody, right? Anybody. They went out, did a stupid trade just to get rid of him because of the fact that these guys were so egotistical, I guess. In the fact that Jaylen Brown just was not a necessity to the team, I guess, a team cancer or whatever. And it's really so stupid, but that's a video in itself in its entirety. But here's their starting lineup. These guys have Baylor Shearman, right? Who's gonna go in, be the shooting guard. I really doubt that's gonna happen. I think Peyton Pritchard honestly is gonna go ahead and start this season. I don't see why not. I know that he's very talented at the 6-man position, but I think they honestly need him to start. You guys have Jordan Walsh, Sam Hauser. This bench is terrible. They do have Hugo Gonzalez, so I do think he's going to be able to go into the second lineup, but he's also dealing with injuries. You have Derek White, Paul George at the 3, Jason Tatum, and Mitchell Robinson. This is not a team that's going to win, right? The Celtics, terrible, absolutely terrible, right? Then we have Miami. We already went through this, but these guys don't have a bench. Their best bench player is Bobby Portis, which says enough. Honestly, the team that I think could give them a run for their money is obviously the defending champs, the New York Knicks, here with Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Kel Bridges, OG Anunoby, Anthony Towns. But these guys did lose Mitchell Robinson, which obviously, throughout the season, the guy wasn't an it factor or anything. The guy wasn't a star, but he was one of the biggest reasons why Wembanyama was not able to offensively be himself. So I think losing Mitchell Robinson option to, you know, get under the luxury tax is definitely something that is going to bite them in the ass whenever it comes to playoff time, especially when they're trying to, you know, reserve the starters. But they do have Andre Drummond to, I guess, combat that. So we'll see how that goes, right? And they did retain Jose Alvarado, McBride, Josh Hart. You know, a lot of these players they retain. But honestly, it's looking really scary out here in the East. Really scary. But I think that's the biggest winners and losers in this LeBron James sweepstakes. You know what I'm saying? All we got to do is wait for the season, see how it goes, and yeah, go from there. But I love you guys. Make sure you guys subscribe. I appreciate y'all, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. Peace.